Hello out there to the Beacon Post community. We're back at it here with another video. So today we're going to be teaching you guys how to install Kali Linux on your virtual machine, Oracle virtual machine. So if you guys do not already have VirtualBox installed, you can go to virtualbox.org/wiki/downloads, and then you can go to this page, and then obviously based off your operating system, you can download VirtualBox. Currently in 2025, we're running 7.1.6, so make sure that you're downloading the appropriate one that you need to use. Obviously, if you're running Linux, don't download the Windows one. If you're running Mac, don't download the Windows one, etc., etc. Right, so the first step to actually running your Kali Linux is to download it. As of 2025, this is the latest version, right? So in order to get that, this is kali.org, right? So if we go to this straight step-by-step kali.org, right? Then we'll go to the downloads page, and then from the downloads page we're going to do installer images, right? And then you see that from as of 2025, February 2025, and where you see that we're still on 224.4 catalog, right? So we come here and hit the download button, and then we're going to start downloading the .iso file. Now usually this takes a minute. I don't have my VPN on currently, so it's going to download a little bit faster, but we can cancel that out because I've already had it downloaded. From here, once it's fully downloaded, we are going to go to our VirtualBox. As you can see here, I already have a few Kali Linux and other machines in here, but for some of you guys it might be blank, so we just want to go to new machine, right? And then for new machine, I'm just going to type Kali Linux walkthrough. This as a name, and then I'm going to change this. You can put this as whatever you want to, but I'm just going to put this on my external device, right? Just because I need the extra space. I'm not sure why it's showing too. We'll just like that for now. And then the ISO file, like I said, I downloaded the ISO file yesterday, so we're gonna click that, and then we keep all the defaults the same. So since it already knows what iOS I'm using, you don't have to edit this portion at all. So you just hit next. Then base memory for your hardware itself. Obviously it's going to depend on how much you have, but I would say use anywhere from 25 to 50% of your RAM that you have. On this asset, you see I have 32 gigabytes, so I'm just gonna put it right in the middle. Right, not too much, not too high. And since I have multiple CPUs, I'm just put 4 CPUs. Obviously, the more processing power and more memory you have, the better it's going to perform. This is going to be based off of your use cases, right? So for size, I'm going to leave it here at 25 gigabytes. You want to extend that as much as possible. Depending on what you want to be using it for, it depends on how much space you have, but you can leave that as that. Alright, so as you see, it's going to create the VM here on the side, Kali Linux walkthrough, right? And then we're just going to have to start that VM. Now this portion of the process is going to take about anywhere from I would say 10 to 40 minutes. Again, it's going to depend on that how powerful your asset is that you're currently using. So whatever that processing power that you added to your device. As you see here, it popped up. So we're just going to hit the enter tab for the graphical install. Maximize the full screen. Alright, so I'm using English, so I'm going to use English. And United States, right? And then American English, and hit continue for all three of those. Then as you see, it's going to start the mounting installation. Again, this is the part of the process that could start taking a while. As you can see, I'm running through it pretty fast because I gave a decent amount of processing power and memory to my box. Host name, I'm just going to leave it as default with Kali. We can skip the domain name. Isolated box. We don't really care about the domain. Full name of user. You can put this as whatever you want. If you leave it blank, then this is going to create a default Kali user for you. So for this, I'm just going to say student. Hit continue. Hit continue. And then the student again. Obviously your username and password don't matter, depends on what you're going to be using it for. But obviously don't leave the stuff as default. And time zone, just leave it to whatever time zone that you want to be in, obviously, and then hit continue. You can leave this as guided. Use enter disk and continue. And continue. And then you can continue as well for that. Then you can do finish partitioning and write to disk and hit continue. Write changes to disk. You can leave this as the default as no. And hit continue. Yes. Change to this. I think usually you guys wouldn't have to worry about that, but I already have partitions on my external device hard drive that I was using. I thought I grabbed a different one, so that's why I had to click that. But as you can see, it's going pretty quickly for me. This is the part that usually takes the longest when it comes to actual installation process. But this is pretty straightforward. If you guys want to skip ahead to that, you can, but I'm just let it run so you can see it playing through no cuts. Once we do fully get installed, there's a few changes I would recommend that we're going to go over as well. But just before we get there, I can talk about it. Making sure we're doing the apt-get update and apt-get upgrade to grab all the updates that Kali Linux needs. As you can see, we downloaded the 2024.4 version, but there's still some applications inside of Kali Linux that could potentially need to be updated. All the pre-installed software and stuff might have their own updates that need to be updated that aren't in that current version, so we'll make sure we're downloading and updating that. Another thing, if you're going to be putting this box on the internet, I would recommend changing the SSH keys as well, which we'll also go over. The reason why you want to change the SSH keys is because by default everybody has the same SSH keys if they're using the same ISO file. So obviously I got this directly from KaliLinux.org, so that means everybody is going to have the same SSH keys. So if you're going to be using something like HackerBox, where you're actually going into the network and then, or somebody else's network, I should say, somebody can get back onto your stuff just by using the default, something that's pretty easy to manipulate. So just understand that if you want to put it on the internet, you should change your SSH keys. That goes for like any Linux OS. I would recommend doing those steps. Alright, so it's going to ask you to install the grub bootloader, and you're going to say yes and continue. Oops. Alright. this should be the last step before it fully installs and boots up, so give it another few minutes. Alright, the installation is finished. Go ahead and continue. And it should be booting up. There we go. Alright, so again, the password was student and the user was student. And at this point, if you guys don't want to run any updates or upgrades or change your SSH keys, then your Kali machine is good to go. But obviously, we operate using safe practices around here. So the first thing is going to be doing a sudo, because we're not in the root accounts. app.get and then update. Tap Y. And then again, it's going to be the passwords, and it's going to start updating. Right, and then we'll do the same thing, but we're going to do upgrade. And then we're going to get all that. Now there's a few other things that you could do with the upgrade command that I usually like to run, but I'm not going to run it here. It's the same command, sudo apt-get tac y upgrade, but then I like to do a tac fix tac mixing. Then again a sudo apt-get tac y upgrade tac fix tac broken. Right, so it's just making sure we're getting all those updates that it might have missed in the first round. Right, but that's not necessarily necessary. But I would suggest at least doing the update and upgrade commands, as you just seen. Now, since, as you can see, it's literally straight out the box, it's going to have a lot of stuff to upgrade and update, so this could take a while as well. Another reason why I turned off my VPN for this, just so I could make it go a little faster. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. Well, while that's running though, we can start a new terminal and then change the SSH keys. So the SSH keys are stored in the SSH, right? And then we're gonna make sure we are actually changing this. So what I like to do is to make it a directory for old. I just like to name it old SSH keys. I just say old keys. I don't need all that. Right. Oh yeah, because we're not in the roots. Gotta make sure we're using sudo for that. Right, and then just make sure it was created, and we see that it's right there, old underscore keys in blue. And then we want to move the old SSH keys to the current ones into that old SSH keys file. So in order to do that, we'll do the move command, right? And then it'll be SSH underscore host underscore wildcard, right? So I'm gonna grab all those keys and then we're just gonna put it in that folder, right? So underscore keys and then hit that slash in there and then hit enter. Set S in there. Sorry. That's how you know it's live, and then also need sudo because again we're not in a root account. And then from that point we're going to have to create the new ones. So we're going to sudo and then dpkg tac reconfigure. Right, you can tab that out and then open SSH tac server, and it should do its thing. It'll take a couple seconds, right? And then to make sure that we actually make changes. This is why I moved the old SSH key. We're just going to MD5 some of the new keys and the old keys. So again, it's a SSH underscore host underscore wildcard for those new SSH keys, and then we're going to do the same thing but for the old one. So that'd be a dot slash for the current directory, and then old keys, and then wildcard. The one thing that should be in there is those SSH keys. And as you can see, those SSH keys are different. So just making sure that you're changing your SSH keys at some point. And as you can see in the background, it's still updating, but it should almost be complete. But yeah, that's your walkthrough for downloading Kali Linux in 2025. If you guys have any questions, make sure you leave a comment down below. Again, if you guys want any consulting or teaching inquiries, please reach out to Beacon Post. And if you guys have nothing else for me, I have nothing else for you. So you have a good one. I hope you guys are in the next video. Peace.